Did anyone ever tell you that life after 80 would feel more like survival than living? Not many people say it out loud. But the truth is, getting older doesn't always come wrapped in wisdom, peace, and gentle mornings. It can come with weakness in your legs and worry you never thought you'd carry. You've made it this far in life. You've fought, endured, given, built. But once you hit your 80s, the world begins to change in ways that are hard to explain unless you're living it. You might look the same in the mirror for a few years, but your strength, your memory, your independence, they begin to wear thin like old fabric. And what nobody warned you about, what they never put in books or in retirement, brochures, is how this stage of life can test you in new ways. Not just physically, but emotionally, psychologically, and spiritually. This video is not about fear. It's about awareness, about naming what so many older adults feel but rarely say, about helping you prepare, mentally and practically, for some of the invisible challenges that show up when you cross into your 80s. We'll go through 7 hard but honest truths about aging after 80, things you deserve to know, so you can face them with strength, dignity, and choice. Because being prepared doesn't make you pessimistic. It makes you powerful. Let's begin. Reality 1, the disappearing circle of people. By the time you reach 80, your phone doesn't ring as often. Not because people don't care, but because many of them are no longer around to call. One of the most painful realities of old age is the quiet loss of your circle, friends passing away, neighbors moving to assisted living, even family becoming less available as they manage their own busy lives. It's not just about death, it's about absence, the kind that creeps in slowly. The lunch you used to share with a friend every Tuesday doesn't happen anymore. The familiar voice you once heard every Sunday after church is gone. And the worst part, no one replaces them. People your age are thinning out, and younger folks don't quite fill the same space in your heart. This shrinking circle doesn't just affect your schedule, it affects your spirit. Loneliness isn't just being alone, it's being invisible. It's waking up and realizing that fewer people know your story, that fewer people remember you in your prime, that fewer people check if you're okay. And when you lose those connections, your sense of self can slip too. You start wondering if you still matter. If anyone would notice if you stayed in bed all day. That's why this first truth is so important to face your social circle. Will change after 80, sometimes faster than you expect. But here's the counterbalance. You have the power to plant new seeds, even now. Some seniors start volunteering, not to feel useful, but to feel connected. Others find joy in small, consistent interactions, like chatting with the same cashier at the local store or joining a library book club for seniors. The point isn't to rebuild what's gone. It's to make sure you're not drifting alone in silence. If you're over 80 and you've felt that emptiness, the ache of fewer familiar voices, you're not imagining it. It's one of the hardest transitions of aging, but naming it and reaching toward even one new connection can be a lifeline. Because while the past may be fading, your story is still unfolding. And someone, somewhere, still needs to hear it. Reality 2, the body's subtle rebellion. After 80, your body doesn't just age, it negotiates. One day, your knees work just fine. The next, they ache with every step. It's not the dramatic decline that gets most older. Folks, it's the quiet rebellion. The stiffness that wasn't there last week. The appetite that disappears without warning. The nap that feels more like a necessity than a choice. Many people expect their strength to fade gradually. But what surprises them is how inconsistent things become. You might sleep fine for 3 nights, then suddenly find yourself awake at 3 a.m. staring at the ceiling. Or your digestion, which was always reliable, begins reacting badly to foods you've eaten your whole life. It's like your body keeps changing the rules without telling you. This unpredictability can make you feel betrayed by the very body you've lived in for decades. You start to wonder, is this a new normal or just a passing glitch? Should I see a doctor or wait it out? The not knowing wears you down. It's not just about pain. It's the emotional toll of not feeling steady in your own skin. And yet most people around you, especially younger ones, don't see it. You might look fine on the outside. You're still walking, still doing your chores, still cracking jokes. But they don't see how much energy it takes just to keep up that rhythm. They don't see the internal adjustments you're making, how you plan your errands around your good hours, how you skip meals just to avoid heartburn, how you sit down not because you're tired, but because standing makes your legs tremble. The hardest part is that this subtle breakdown doesn't stop, and it doesn't always follow a pattern. One day you feel young again, and it gives you hope. The next day you feel older than your age, and that hope slips. It's not weakness, it's the reality of the body, working harder to maintain the same functions. You're still you, but now you need to listen more carefully. Move more gently, rest more often. But here's something that helps routines, even simple ones. Drinking warm water first thing in the morning, stretching gently before bed, going outside for sunlight, even if just for 10 minutes. These little actions remind your body that you're still on its side, that you're not giving up. You're adjusting. And that's the quiet strength of aging well, not in resisting change, but in learning how to move with it. If you're still watching this video and finding these insights valuable, please comment number 2 below to let me know you're here. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I recommend you subscribe and turn on the bell so you don't miss any videos. Your support helps us continue creating good content to inform and inspire you. Now let's move forward. Reality 3, the shrinking circle of people. After 80, one of the hardest truths to face is this: your circle gets smaller. Sometimes it happens slowly, other times all at once. Friends you used to call weekly stop answering. Neighbors you shared coffee with move away or pass away. Even your own family, the ones who once needed you for everything, suddenly seem busy with their own lives. It's not always that people mean to pull away. Life just changes. Your children become grandparents themselves. Their time gets eaten up by jobs, grandkids, their health, their stress. And while they still love you, the phone calls become less frequent. The visits more rushed. The sense of belonging fainter. At first, you might tell yourself it's temporary. They're just busy this month. But weeks stretch into months. Birthdays go by with only a short text. Holidays feel quieter. You find yourself reminiscing more, replaying old conversations, holding on to memories, because new ones are harder to come by. There's also the social shift that comes with aging. Maybe you don't drive at night anymore. Maybe it's harder to hear in loud places. Maybe getting up and dressed for a gathering takes 3 times as much energy as it used to. So even when there are opportunities to connect, you hesitate. You want to go, but you weigh the cost. And many times the cost feels too high. This creates a dangerous loop. The less you connect, the more invisible you begin to feel. And the more invisible you feel, the easier it is for others to overlook you. It's not intentional, but it's real. And it's painful. One woman named Sandra, 84, shared that the loneliest part of her day wasn't being alone. It was realizing that no one was expecting her call. No one was waiting for her to show up. And when she missed an event at her local community center, no one even noticed. But here's what's important. Shrinking circles don't mean disappearing lives. You don't need a crowd to feel connected. 1 or 2 meaningful relationships, someone you can laugh with, or just sit in silence with, can be enough. Sometimes that means reaching out, even when it feels awkward. Writing a letter instead of waiting for a call. Saying yes to a neighbor's invitation even when you'd rather stay home. It also helps to give your presence where it's needed. Mentor someone younger. Volunteer if you're able. Share your stories. You may feel like no one's listening, but someone is. And your life experience can be the anchor they need. Growing older doesn't mean becoming irrelevant, but staying visible does take effort. And it begins by remembering that while your circle may be smaller, your value hasn't shrunk at all. Reality 4, the burden of outliving others. There's a quiet kind of pain that comes with outliving the people you love. And after 80, this becomes more than just a possibility, it becomes a pattern. You don't just say goodbye to one person, you say goodbye again and again. To friends who knew your childhood, to siblings who shared your parents, even to your own spouse, the one you thought you'd grow old with forever. It's not just loss, it's the sheer weight of carrying all those memories alone. You find yourself the last one remembering a funny moment from 1963. The only one who still knows the story behind the dent in the garage door. There's no one left to say, "Remember when?" and have them nod with that same knowing smile. This kind of loneliness is different. It's not just about having no one to talk to. It's about realizing that no one else remembers your life the way you do. That no one else has your history. That the cast of characters in your story has thinned, and you're left on stage with fewer familiar faces in the audience. You might also feel a kind of guilt. Not the kind tied to wrongdoing, but survivor's guilt. You start wondering why you're still here when others aren't. You replay decisions. Think about missed calls. You carry questions you can't answer. And that grief, it doesn't fade. It just changes shape. One man named Robert, 87, said the hardest part of aging wasn't his aching knees or his blurry vision. It was the mornings when he reached for the second coffee mug out of habit, or the way he sometimes heard his wife's voice in his head, answering a question he never asked aloud. But there's something we don't talk about enough. There's strength in being the one who remembers. There's courage in waking up to a quieter house and still choosing to get out of bed. There's beauty in telling the stories of those who are gone, in keeping their legacy alive through your own voice. If you're still watching this video and finding these insights valuable, please comment number 4 below to let me know you're here. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I recommend you subscribe and turn on the bell so you don't miss any videos. Your support helps us continue creating good content to inform and inspire you. Now let's move forward. Reality 5, the shrinking of personal freedom. After 80, something strange starts to happen. Even if you're still sharp, still capable, and still independent, people begin to treat you like you're not. Your freedom, little by little, starts to shrink. It begins with small things. Maybe your children insist on driving you everywhere, even when you know you're perfectly fine behind the wheel. Or they start questioning what you eat, when you sleep, how you take your pills. It's not that they don't love you. It's that their worry makes them overstep. And suddenly, you're not the one making the final call. You're being advised, guided, or gently pushed. This is when frustration creeps in. You know your own limits. You've earned the right to choose what matters. But the world around you starts deciding for you, as if old age cancels out a lifetime of judgment and self-control. You may even feel invisible in conversations, as if your preferences don't weigh as much as they used to. One woman named Joyce, 84, shared how her daughter started organizing every part of her day, from morning walks to what shows she watched. It came from love, but it made her feel like a child. Joyce said she felt like her independence was being slowly erased, not because she couldn't function, but because others assumed she couldn't. This is one of the quiet battles of aging, the struggle to hold on to your agency in a world that means well, but doesn't always listen. It's not about being stubborn. It's about dignity, about still having a say, about being asked, not told. But here's the part that matters: setting boundaries at this stage is